Hello, everyone. I'm here again to give you another one of MTV's forgotten television shows because I think many of these TV shows were ahead of their time and would have done really great if they existed now, you know? So yes, this show is worth it. That's besides the point. February 2nd, 2012, MTV premiered rather, a very cool and interesting comedy/drama with a simple and really effective premise that is sort of relatable, where a guy meets a girl and a girl has a one-night stand in his fridge. And he finds out that, amidst all the chaos of her having to leave in the morning, she grabs, his pants and she gives him a number, says, "Call me sometime." He's really feeling the spark there. And then he finds out that the number that she gave him was a fake and he doesn't have his pants anymore. I Just Want My Pants Back is one of the first shows of the MTV 2010s that was made to relate to like 20-somethings at the time. And how crazy and confusing the world can be when you're trying to figure out where your life is going while attempting to pay for whatever current lifestyle you have, which is usually partying, hanging out with your friends, all that kind of stuff. And the show just did a great job with that. Like, it did a really good job with that. And other shows came out around that same time that MTV put more time into, such as Awkward. But this one really hit the mark, and a lot of people saw that, even back then. But MTV, for some reason, didn't want to follow through with that. Strange. It's strange. David J. Rosen wrote a book that this entire show is based on, and he also was the driving factor in making this show exist in the first place. MTV took a chance with that content, and it worked out. It worked out really well. But MTV decided that the network needs to make important decisions on what shows that they should renew, and that due to the network's large inventory of up-and-coming series like the US version of The In-Betweeners.
Cool. Not cool. Or somewhere in between.
Is that your mom?
Yes.
She is hot.
Yeah, I'd renob her in a second.
I'm not gonna ask what that means.
Renob is boner backwards. I'd literally renob her so hard that my penis would be pushed back into my body.
But cool, Zack Stone is gonna be famous. Also, is a show that this got canceled for. So that show did really well, right? Yeah, it went the distance. It had several seasons. It it really went. And okay, so here's a list of MTV's current running shows. Okay, now here's a list of MTV shows that were canceled or ended in some kind of capacity. Do you see the huge disparity there? MTV has had a lot of television shows that were pretty great and only had one season, and fortunately they were canceled. In some cases, they had TV shows that had several seasons and then got canceled at a point where they really needed to find their ending, or they were really hitting their stride. They found their community. MTV really found a group of people that could love these shows forever, and they decided that wasn't good enough. The ratings weren't good enough, or whatever shows that they had coming up were more important than the current shows that they had and needed to put their time into. So where are they now? Without a lot of shows like that. But, you know, they've got reality television and ridiculousness playing 90% of the day. 90% of the day. MTV fans know this. The Challenge fans know this. That, like, until recently, it's been hard to even just watch reruns of some MTV shows. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But I digress. You know, this is not about MTV as a whole. This is about I Just Want My Pants Back, the television show. You know, the show, in short, is about a guy and his friends who are just 20-somethings trying to live their life. And it's really cool how they took the premise of this one character, they focus on him a lot, but it's still an ensemble show overall, you know? Peter Vack plays Jason. Kim Shaw plays his best friend Tina. Then Jordan Carlos also plays his best friend Eric, and Eric's girlfriend Stacy is also a close friend of Jason's as well. You know, all of them are good friends. They don't really go too big into the backstory. It's implied that, you know, a lot of them met during high school or like early college, and that they're approaching their later 20s and trying to figure out where to go with their lives. So Jason, who he meets the girl that he considers to be the girl of his dreams, and he just kind of like obsesses over her. But the show does what was like very popular around that time, which luckily is less popular now, which I like to call the white whale approach, or the white whale topic, or the white whale point. I'm still thinking out a name. But the concept of this girl, this person who is just absolutely perfect in ideal, you know, like the idea of her is absolutely perfect for this man, and so he obsesses over her, and he does whatever he can to like run into her again. He even tries to replicate these different moments to make it happen again. And honestly, looking at it now, it's good that we shied away from those plot points, because it's kind of weird to take the idea of someone and let it like consume you like that. So luckily the show actually dives into his mentality towards her, and has a pretty good outlook on how it affects him, and how he needs to like not obsess over that. He still does have to move on with his life, and you know, and so the entire show is not just about her, just about him looking for her. It's about other things, you know. Again, ensemble. So yeah, it's really interesting. And some of the things in the show that they use for laughs are they're really cool and very, very topical even now. And I actually saw an interview with Peter Vack and the rest of the cast after the show was canceled, where they were, you know, doing a Q&A about where the show could go, or you know, network wise, where the show, like what could happen with the show in the future, all these things, right? They were trying to figure out like what they were going to do, but they were also still trying to like process the fact that this show is gone. And it was interesting, and Peter Vack said that this is a television show that he feels could be enjoyed now, or at that time, and then enjoyed many times even in the future, that people will come back to this and it'll still feel fresh, it'll still feel topical, you know, it'll still be a relevant show. And it is. Now, this is a comedy first, drama later, so all the serious stuff that I talked about, that's an aspect of the show, but there are also, like, the really random and cool things. Like, Chris Parnell is a character in the show who... he's a sex pest? He's like Harvey Weinstein without the... Okay. He's like... Okay. Let's say Harvey Weinstein is like the 10, right? Chris Parnell is like the 5 or 6 on that scale of like creepy casting director person. But he's also, you know, the boss of the main character. And so, yeah, he's played for laughs, which I don't think that kind of character would be played for laughs like that now, but they also do well to make sure to point out like how like awful and creepy he is even back then. So progress. Yeah, so another thing that was interesting about this point in time in shows like this is that this show showed that MTV could still be about music. It could still be the music television channel without having to always play music videos, because you know this show introduced people into a lot of at the time considered like more indie bands like Waves, by just playing their music as a part of the show, and then also like incorporating the New York music scene into the show, you know, because it was one of those hipster things. Like, we were all really weird back then, and now the next generation is weirder. And the shit, like, do you ever think about the time that JPEG Mafia played, what was it, 100 Gex for Denzel Curry?
What the fuck is this?
What? What?
What the fuck is this?
It's music.
It's music.
This
is garbage.
It's beautiful.
That's how I feel about like music and Gen Z sometimes. It's just like we had, you know, secret underground shows of like watching like Waves and oh my god, what's another 2010s band? The Waves again. You know, like we had secret underground shows of seeing all these like indie bands that became popular later. 30 Seconds to Mars, you know, and now you have TikTok that just like hyper, like it just speeds up that process super fast. So like new music is here and gone within like weeks. It's crazy. Anyways, rants. So I don't want to like spoil the big parts of the show. So I'm just gonna list a bunch of reasons why you should check this show out. McKenzie Davis. McKenzie Davis is in the show as a French woman who's kind of nuts in like a casual way, which is, I think 2010s was like the time when that became like that was the prominent, you know, joking style to like introduce a character who like when you really like pick them apart, it's like you're pretty nuts, you're pretty insane, and they're just played for laughs because it's like there's nothing wrong with this. I just broke down a building, you know, I just busted out a window, don't mind me, you know. It's like whatever. There's a situation in the show where Jason gets a job from a reoccurring character who he's an enigma of a man. Okay, this character like is at all the parties that they end up going to, and he's like hitting on all the women in like that weird casual perv way of like, hey, when am I gonna get some of that? You know, whatever. And He's always trying to flaunt himself as if he's like, you know, the guy who gets all the girls, whatever, right? Jason is down on his luck. He asks for a job. This dude is like, oh, I got you. You know, you can clean this lady's apartment. And then all of a sudden the show turns into something like this.
I see you don't have a lifeguard here at your beach.
I'm not at the beach. This is a bathtub.
And then it just, I don't know, it just gets really, really, like, interesting. And it's a funny scenario. And luckily, that happens for an episode, and then that's it. Like, it doesn't, like, change the show entirely. It just stays that way. There's a James Franco ravioli party. That, I don't know, that sounds amazing. Even though it's probably not a real thing, that sounds pretty awesome. You know, the random celebrities throwing a ravioli party? Sure, why not? Okay, 2 20-something-year-old adults are believed to have had sex in a fridge. You know, and this is supposed to be like a gag of like, because he's, you know, young college guy, he's broke. So he's got nothing in that fridge, but because he's not rich, there's no way you can believe that 2 people had sex in a fridge. But comedy. I just have notes of like random things. I don't understand why I did this to myself. I cannot not mention the secret main character of the show, which is the Indian man who owns and runs the bodega that's like down the street from where everyone lives. And you know, like they go there all the time. They get their bacon, egg, and cheese, they get their drinks, they, you know, like whatever, they go there all the time for, you know, all kinds of random things. And he gives them advice, he talks to them. There's like a weird bit where like he calls Tina Jason's whore friend, but you know, eventually that turns into a heartwarming thing. Yeah, but whatever. I actually found an old Facebook status about this where I said that I don't know how I forgot about this, but like he's basically just a modern day Apu. Like he was supposed to be like a modernization of Apu, at least during the 2010s, to like take him and make him into a live action character and say like, this is a concept and this really happens, you know, whatever. But it was kind of odd. But that character was cool too. Oh, I can't not mention the fact that Jason's friendship with Tina was revolutionary for the time. Like I think I said this about Sweet Vicious, but there's a platonic friendship shown in this television show. You could argue that there's 2, but like mainly Jason and Tina's friendship is very interesting because they're 2 very attractive people of the opposite sex who are attracted to the opposite sex, who don't even entertain the idea of having anything romantic with each other, which is something that television shows needed more of back then. Something that like shows that were aimed at like the early 20s crowd needed more back then, because it just really showed how natural the concept of like just having a platonic friend of the opposite sex was. Like they talked about all kinds of shit with each other, and they helped out with stuff, and then they also clashed where naturally it could clash, but that became points where they could learn more about how to deal with that, and it wasn't like played in like a weird way of like there's no way this friendship could ever break or whatever. It was like they fought about stuff and they had like disagreements about stuff, and it worked out. Like, I don't know, it was good. It was really, really good. Oh, Jordan Klepper is in an episode of the show. That was really awesome to see. There's an episode where Tina dates a guy who's in a Green Day cover band. and it was just very, very interesting because like he was making money off of this. Like this was his like career, to be in a Green Day cover band. And is that do people like do that? Do people make a living off of being cover bands now, or is that still like side gig thing? I don't know about things. I don't know about things. The show did get canceled, and it sucks. There's some weird thing where for some reason it's listed on the NBC website. I can't find anything that's really like explaining why it's there, but it's on the MTV or on the NBC website, you know, or the Peacock website, I guess now. There are no episodes available there, for some odd reason. Of course, MTV, like, because it's there, MTV doesn't really like acknowledge like ownership of the show. I think even like the international MTV websites that usually have like older shows on there, like, you know, Mary Plus Jane, Awkward, you know, some of their older shows, Happy Land, which maybe I'll make a video about. I don't know. That show was weird. It was about incest, accidental incest, and yeah. So even those sites don't have I Just Want My Pants Back on there. It's not acknowledged there. Just like Sweet Vicious, I guess MTV just didn't want to like deal with any sort of legalities, because maybe NBC owns the show, maybe another network owns the show, but no one's doing anything with it. It would be nice if there was like a reboot of this series, or like a new season of the show with as many of the original actors as possible, as like a future sort of thing, just to like show that everyone's doing okay, because there were some things that were shown in the end of the show that left questions to be answered. David J. Rosen himself was asked about like his ideas for future seasons of the show after the show was canceled, and he basically said that he doesn't want to like tell people about it, because at that time he was like very, very hopeful that another network would pick up the show, because it was honestly like a tragedy that the show just got canceled. Because I mean, look what we have now. We have several seasons of young Sheldon. I'm just kidding. You know, it's nice to know that everyone, that a lot of the people who are involved in the show, they didn't lose their careers over this. You know, it sucks that the show got canceled when it did, but it's still available. It's still available out there on the internet. You can literally just Google "I Just Want My Pants Back," and yeah, you can buy it on Apple TV. You can buy it on Amazon. There are a few networks that still have it available for purchase if you want to watch the show, and you should, because it was really good. Who knows what NBC or whatever network that owns this show is gonna do, but it was quite an experience, and you should try and enjoy it, you know, because it was just funny. Like even if you don't worry about how it ends or what happens afterwards and whatnot, it was just enjoyable. Every episode had its own reason to be very, very enjoyable. All the performances were great. 2010s New York was interesting. There was all kinds of like random things in there, and there's also an actor in the show who looks a lot like Henry Cavill but isn't Henry Cavill, and that irks me. But anyways, yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I think you should watch the show. I think the show is really good. If you have anything you want to say, if you have anything you want to add, anything that I missed, let me know in the comments below. gonna do a better job at getting these things out faster. Yeah, there's more to come. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this. Don't forget to let me know that you enjoyed it, because I don't know unless you do it. And subscribe for more content to come. Also, follow me on all my social medias, or any of my social medias, Twitter, Instagram. If you want updates, if you want to, like, you know, yell at me about this, whatever you want to do. And also, I'm always on Twitch. I'm not always on Twitch. I'm on Twitch too, so thanks. And I hope you're all doing okay. I'll catch you later.